What up? What up? What up?
Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. I'm Ron.
I'm Angela.
And this is
Chatter of Opinion.
Now, we've been talking about dating. Last week we had covered a list of places where I guess a woman put together and said that she refuses to go on a first date.
Yeah, like this list was from restaurants to sporting events to coffee shops.
Right. She had like 28 items on there. And the number one item, as everyone knows, was the Cheesecake Factory. Now,
tripping.
I know it's a little difficult that people say that dating is a little difficult now. And I guess because there's so many rules and you don't know where to take people, you don't know how much money to spend, you don't know the event, the whole nine. Can be a little difficult when it comes to dating because you have to make sure that you actually pay attention to someone and see eye to eye. Also,
and you don't know each other yet,
right? But then also it comes to the finances with the elevation of expenses and stuff like that out in society. It's kind of difficult to, especially on a first date, to take someone to a really nice spot. If you're dating, you know what I mean? Yeah, because if you date two or three people,
blood or a kidney,
right? If you date two or three people in a week, or you're trying to get to know someone, then that could be really expensive.
I didn't even think of that. That's true because when I was dating,
back in the days, you could take someone to an easy spot or whatever, and you can go on 2 or 3 dates or whatever, and it won't cost you that much money. But now, when people are trying to be bougie when it comes to these dating,
give up your first child.
Yeah, you got to get a payday loan or something going on. So today's discussion, we are talking about disaster dating. Disaster dating, or dates that did not go well for you.
Did not go the way you thought they were, right. Or a definite horror story.
Right. Like I always tell people, one of the dates that I had been on back in the day was this girl. I don't even know where I met this girl at. I have no clue. Seemed pretty much put together. The whole nine, very polite. And then she had told me where she lived. And at that time, I didn't know too much about Albuquerque, but she had told me the particular spot. So I kind of looked it up, and it was kind of in the hood.
You don't remember what it was?
It was in the hood where you used to do like property management,
like a restaurant.
No, off of
where she lived.
Yeah.
To pick her up,
Montgomery or whatever. Montgomery. Yeah, but she was cool. You know what I mean? So I didn't think nothing about it. She set it up and said, "Hey, meet me at this place." Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? She seemed pretty decent. And then we get to the spot. I get there first and sent her a message and said I was already inside because the restaurant was getting kind of full or whatnot. And then she shows up. She walks up, she sits down at the table, and I swear her lip was like, her lip was about this big and it was busted. Like it was split on the side and she was bleeding like she got attacked in the parking lot. I was like, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, I got a fight at the library or some.
She didn't seem embarrassed or anything?
No, like that was normal for her to show. I'm not talking about when she was bleeding. I'm talking about a little blood was on her shirt.
Like it was like a badge of honor.
Yeah. So the whole date, I'm sitting there and we're talking. I didn't leave. I was respectful.
Yeah, you stuck through it.
Yeah, and the whole date, I just couldn't understand what she was talking about. I don't even remember what the conversation was about because my focus was on this girl's busted lip the whole time.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why didn't you just reschedule?
I probably would have.
Right. No,
like that's important because it's your first impression. So for you to show up and you have like this fat lip.
Oh, and bleeding.
And she probably tried to smile. And you know, when you get like the is it Novocaine? When you get like a dental something done and you try to smile and you're like this.
Well, what happened was, and I think that's what happened was, she had gotten a fight the night before is what she said at the club. And first of all, I was like, she's still going to the club. She's not for me to begin with. Mm-hmm. And then I think, she was probably on the way over there and then she probably smiled or whatever. And then it split open a little more.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then she couldn't control it. Plus she had a fat lip. So I was like, man, this is a straight up
Okay, and I
disaster.
believe I asked you this before, but in case anyone didn't catch it previously,
Okay.
was there a second date?
No.
Was it because of the lip?
It was because of two things. It was because, first of all, she showed up like that. She's a club girl. She's fighting at the club. And then, like a few days after that, some dude that pretended to be a gangster responded to me on a text message. Like, why you messing with my girl? I'm a such and
Really?
such blood, blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. Yeah. Yeah.
You
So
never
that's why I
respond, I hope.
didn't. No. I was responding to the dude and said a few choice words, and then I just went about my business. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think that was your like top worst or just a memorable worst?
That was a memorable moment.
Okay.
I haven't been on a lot of bad dates. I
Yeah.
did go on another date where I met the young lady and she was real nice, real nice. Conversation was real good and whatnot. She said that she had to go use the restroom. So I was like, okay, cool. Women do that. They go to the restroom and they type up how wonderful of a man that I am and whatnot. And they're so blessed to be on a
Yeah?
date with me and
Oh,
so forth.
okay.
She comes out of the bathroom and she's like crying, like hysterically crying, boot crocodile tear. And I was just like, oh Lord,
What happened?
what happened? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then she sits down and she says, she's trying to catch her breath and everything. And she's like, my mom's here. And I was just like, okay, your mom's here. She says, oh, but she's with another dude, and that's not my dad.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So then I'm stuck in a place where I don't know, because she's asking me, well, what should I do? Should I go confront her? Should I do this? And I'm just like,
Wow, that's awkward.
Yeah, I
I mean,
don't
it had
know.
nothing to do with you guys per se,
No.
but that's still like, yeah.
Yeah, it put me in a position that I don't know. If you go over there and talk to your mama, I don't know. What am I supposed to do?
Wow.
You know what I mean? And we didn't even know each other like that. So she's crying. I don't know how to really be there for her. I felt her pain because her mama was over there in the cut with another guy. Yeah. And I think
So I don't.
no,
So
we
did your
didn't.
date last
No,
long,
no,
or
it didn't
did you
last
cut
too
it
long.
short? Did you even eat?
We had a drink, and then she went over there and made herself known to her mom and whatnot. And I think she said her mom lied about something
Who he
because
was, or
the dude was
like he's a coworker or something.
yeah.
No,
No, I don't
was
know
that
if it
here
was
in
a coworker. Yeah, it
Albuquerque?
was here in Albuquerque.
Man, you had great luck in Albuquerque, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's when you started dating.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So then, like I said, she went about her way after she made herself known. I guess the guy, her mom was trying to lie, and then the guy was like, "You need to tell her," or something of that nature. And then that was it. That was the end of our date. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people like. I don't know if it's just that because of social media we hear about stuff more, or if it's truly increased in the bad dates.
Well, you see it more too when people
Right.
post all their business out
Correct.
on
That's what
social
I'm
media.
saying is what back in the day, was there just as many bad dates, or is it just that you just hear about it more? Or is it people got lost their mind and they don't know how to date like they used to?
I think what happens is nowadays with the so many choices with social media that you are quick to call somebody out. Before you didn't call people out like you get called out now. And not only do you get called out, just like that girl with the Cheesecake Factory, she breaks the phone out to record somebody's bad time that they're about to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think now with the exposure and the social media sites and stuff like that, it's just more visible now than word of mouth. Because you and your girls, y'all went out on dates before.
Totally.
And then y'all start talking
just
like,
amongst ourselves.
right. Then you'd be like, girl, this dude, man, you know what he did? But now you got video evidence like, look at what this dude
or
did.
they're just telling it of what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the worst date that you went on?
So I think I've been pretty lucky that I haven't had like a date a memorable date where I was like, oh my God, this one time, right?
Mhm.
The only thing I can say is this one guy, I had seen him, I don't know, a few times we've hung out. He seemed a little odd, but he also was cool at the same time. Like, not necessarily a red flag, but just kind of awkward.
Okay.
He ended up cooking for me, my mom, and my sister.
He cooked.
He cooked homemade. I don't know if Crystal remembers. He made like this pear dessert, and the food was delicious. He was like really into cooking.
Okay.
And he was like Muslim, if I remember, and there was like certain things he, like, I know we were trying to do the cooking thing for a bit, but there was certain things he couldn't do during certain times of the month.
Right.
Type thing. And so
Marley.
he was cool in that aspect. But then one time him and I went to hang out, and we just like went to this park, and that is when I found out he had a foot fetish.
Oh, like he was staring at your bunions?
He just kept wanting to like rub my feet.
And you let him.
It was weird. Well, at first it was more like it seemed sweet, right? Like, oh, let me, we're sitting here talking and chatting. And he's like, here, give me your foot. Did you have a hard day type thing? Like,
okay.
Didn't feel weird at first. And then he starts talking about feet. And then just like, kept on. And I'm like, what the hell?
And this wasn't a first date, was it?
It wasn't a first date. That's why I'm
Okay.
saying, like, I didn't get the weird vibes right away. Then and then after that, it was like he always wanted to rub my feet. That didn't last long.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Oh, Lord.
It was very weird. So like I said, it wasn't like a specific date, but after a while, he started being weird.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I went on a few where like a guy kind of was like hinting like, can we split it type thing?
Oh, like the bill?
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess at that time, like I said, I really wasn't looking for anything serious. It didn't affect me. If I could cover it, why not? Sure, I'll go half. I'm not a drinker, so it's not like our bill was high. So it wasn't, I don't know. I just always kept things casual until I was ready to not be casual.
I don't know. And this is just me as a person. I don't know how I would even ask a person to go Dutch.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't raised that way. I just don't know how I would be like.
Especially if you ask them out.
Right. I asked you out on a date, and then I'm like, okay, I had like the fries and the steak and this, that, and the other. And then you had, I just don't know if I could even do that. Even as a friend, if I ask you to go out as a friend, I got to pay.
The person too, right?
What do you mean?
Just like what type of person it is that you're with. If they're going to call you out or be like, how dare you ask me? Like, it depends on both sides. For that person asking, sometimes people have no shame to ask. They're like, I'm going to ask. And then there's the people who are asking them to go, is it Dutch? Considered Dutch?
I think with me, I think maybe that would be, I would figure that out from the start. Before I even go out or we even go to the restaurant, I'm going to figure out if we're going to pay separately or I'm going to make a decision.
Together? Mm-hmm. That's like a conversation beforehand?
No, because I'm me as a man, I'm going to tell you, I got it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not just going to assume. Mm-hmm. If somebody asks me out, I'm not just going to assume that they got it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to figure like, hey, I should have my portion or I should be able to cover the both of us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I go out on a date, period, I should be prepared to pay for the
Again, I remember it happening, and maybe I was young and naive and just didn't have high expectations.
Right.
But at the time, it wasn't for me a red flag. It was just like, okay, I'll pay for myself. But I didn't take offense to it. I wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. I'll never see him again just because he made me, or not made me, but asked to go half. I don't know. I didn't take it as a negative thing.
Right.
Like it takes a lot for me to get worked up on, but once I'm worked up, then I will cut you off. Like, that's just the type of person I am. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe a bad thing too, but yeah, so I don't get like worked up over like to what I consider minimal things.
Right. And see, and I'm
So
that type of person that I'm not gonna take it to the point where you do get worked up. You
totally,
see what I'm
but
saying?
that's you. You're very calm. There's times since we've been together that I felt like you should have been worked up, and you were like chill as can be.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't have any control, but then, like I said, especially out in public, you see people at times when they're on a disaster date. They're arguing and they're cussing each other
Yeah.
out and the whole nine. And I always tell myself, "Ooh, Lord, I am so blessed to not be in that
That you
situation."
haven't been in that situation.
Yeah, I
I
have
just
not been in
always
that
remember you
situation.
saying like when you were out at the club that it was like the one specific type that always like
Oh,
tried to get
yeah.
at you.
Always. There was always somebody that, for some reason, they would
Like
always
not what
approach
you
me.
considered the attractive one, but
Right.
the friend that was probably the tag along.
It was always the good-looking girl that, the
Would
put
start
together
the
girl, yeah, would start the
conversation.
conversation and
It
talk to
was
me and
for
this,
the
that, and the
other
other.
person.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, I need to introduce you to my friend," and then
They walk up
yeah,
and it's like Respucia.
it's like
Yeah.
okay, man, all right.
Aw. I
And
wonder
normally,
why.
because I didn't go to the club too often, and when I did go to the club, either I was going to meet someone, like a guy or whatever to
Yeah.
hang out with, or I was by myself.
Oh.
I only went to the club a few times. I went to here in Albuquerque. I went to the Q Bar once, and then that Grand Central Station. Yeah, back in the day, Grand Central Station or whatever. I went there once. Yeah, so I was not really, after a certain age, I was not the club type person.
I've heard people say like dates have left them.
Right.
Right? Like they're at
the spot.
They're at the spot and they maybe say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and then just never show up. I also remember that morning show that we used to always listen to when we used to commute to work.
Okay.
And people would, I don't know, they would say about their first date follow-ups, like
Right.
why didn't it happen or what. Do you remember which one it was where people just like ghosted or whatever?
Yeah.
And oh my God, the reasonings behind it were just so, some of them were like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Yes.
Right? Or like, oh, I saw so-and-so using the phone and it was my ex, or it was this, like randomness.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of awkward stuff that people go through.
Right. Because I remember I was, I guess, talking. And she kept on saying stuff about me meeting her mom or something like that. So I was just like,
Was
okay.
it pretty early?
What do you mean early?
In the like in y'all seeing, and she was already saying meeting my
it was early. It was early in us talking and whatnot.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Yeah, you need to meet my mom or whatever. She's pretty cool and blah blah blah." So I was like, "All right, whatever." So it was a point where they were at the mall.
Okay.
And it wasn't a date, but they were at the mall, and she told me that they were at the mall. I said, "Okay, I'll come through real quick. I'm in the area, so I'll just pass by." And then when I passed by and I saw old girl, I realized that I used to talk to her mom. Yeah.
Right.
I talked to her mom. We weren't dating. Me and the mom didn't date. There's nothing that happened, but we had interacted with each other.
So how old was the mom and how old was the daughter?
It was
So you were in between?
Yeah, because the mom was older and the daughter was
So
almost
you were
around
dating
my
a
age.
cougar, and then all of a sudden you were.
But I wasn't really dating the mom,
Okay,
and
but
I didn't date her either. So then when I saw him, there was I remember this. There was at
So
that
you-
Forever 21.
Oh my God.
And then
Still Albuquerque too?
Albuquerque,
Oh
yeah.
my
So
God.
when I saw him, I was just like, "Oh, nah, player, I'm out."
So you just never showed up?
Never showed up.
And never talked to her after that?
I did. I just made up an excuse. I think my grandma
And then
died
it
that day. Again. Gramps died that day again.
That was number 12 of grandma passing.
Yeah. I think it was something like that, but then I just never really talked to her.
Yeah,
after
like
that.
nothing continued.
Yeah, it just
after
fizzled
that.
out. Yeah, I didn't talk to her after that. Yeah.
Okay, so You've had bad luck in love, honey.
No, but because I've had some really good dates too. As far as
Okay, well, we're not talking about good dates
no, I'm not.
today. We're
I'm
talking
saying
about bad dates.
I'm saying I had some really good,
Yeah.
communication type things that never led to anything.
I feel too, though, that you are pretty kicked back, and also you can find the humor in things, and you're nosy.
Oh,
So
I ask questions.
if
I'm
someone
gonna
comes
ask.
in and it's like this crazy story, or they have something weird going on, you'll be like there, and then what?
Oh yeah,
Really? They
yeah.
did that? And then you're like trying to get the story from them.
But
So you just kind of, I'm here, I might as well make the best of it.
oh yeah, if I show up to a place and
Mhm.
it's not my ideal date, I would still continue with it
Yeah.
because I'm already there. So I'll try to make the best of it, even if it's okay. We're just gonna have some drinks. We're gonna eat, and then
Right.
I'm out.
Now,
So
I've had a few dates, like if I dated online, where when I showed up, I'm like, that don't look like his pictures type thing. I mean, you could tell it was him, but he used like the best pictures of him. So then the attraction wasn't there, but it wasn't necessarily a bad date. It wasn't that I was going to leave this dude at the restaurant just because he wasn't attractive. Like, I still got through the date, got to know him,
right.
conversation, it was fine, but that spark just wasn't there from the initial physical appearance. So then after that, it was like nothing.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and I've seen times where somebody was trying to talk to me like on social media, and then I would just so happen to see them at like Walmart or this, that, and the other, and they don't look nothing like the photo that they had either on their profile or that they had sent to me. Not on a date though. I have never been on a date where the person just looked totally different.
Different.
Than,
Yeah. Like, this ain't
that,
you.
right. But then again, I didn't do the online dating like that either, though. Like the dating sites.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I was on like social media, like what do you call it? Facebook or whatever, but I never really did
MySpace.
I had
Back in the
MySpace.
day.
Yeah, but I never did like the dating apps or whatever.
So the only thing I can say with like, well, no, maybe it's not appropriate for this. Not appropriate, but
Okay.
I can only say that I've had like one bad like relationship experience where the guy had a whole family.
A whole family.
Like a whole family. And I didn't know. And we were together for like 3 years. So that would be my only like red flag type thing where it was like, wow. And then after things happen, you're kind of like, why didn't I pick up on those red flags? Just like dates, right? Like, say if somebody's maybe like cheating on their girl or their person, and then you're dating that person and you don't catch on like, oh, they only call me at certain times of the day, or mostly during the weekday, but they won't call me on the weekend, or those type of things. It's like red flag. Like, why won't you call me after 5 p.m.?
Right, or 10,
right? Is it because you're at home with your family?
Right, there's a time frame when it comes to that where if communication stops, that's kind of a red flag. But I did see on a couple of social media things, sites not too long ago, where I think somebody even posted it like, what's wrong with this picture? And the guy or the girl have their phone upside down on the table, and it says, oh, they're cheating because their phone is upside down.
Oh, like facing down?
Yeah, face down. Like, why is that considered a
form of cheating?
A form of cheating if their phone is upside down. Because if that's the case,
and that person probably said, well, I just was trying not to be distracted by my phone so I could focus.
Because
they're taking it as, well, someone's texting you and you're trying to hide it.
Okay, so why won't I just turn off my notifications when I'm on the phone? I mean,
or not even have it on the table.
Right. Or I could just turn my phone off before I meet you, and then either have it face down or face up. It doesn't matter. Just because somebody's phone is upside down doesn't mean that they're cheating.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I saw that before.
Another one I've been seeing lately is like people being inappropriate.
What do you mean?
Right. Just like, I don't know, they're just burping, or like just their etiquette is kind of inappropriate, or they're like overly eating, chewing with their mouth open, and you're just like, oh God.
I don't know what would cause me to walk out on a date.
Right.
You know, because I got pretty thick skin. And I think that, like you said, I'm a pretty laid back type
You
person.
are.
So I don't know what would someone have to do to cause me to just
walk out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you see people walk out all the time on their dates. No matter
Right.
if it's a male, female, or whatever. You see them walk out all the time.
Right. Like, what is so bad that someone can do?
Yeah, to cause me to say, I am totally done with this date.
Yeah.
I'm out.
There's this girl that I always watch, and she kind of has like a weird personality, but kind of dry. But she always shows, and I'm assuming that it's kind of staged, but she'll do stuff like people are like, we don't want you to videotape in here. Random stuff like that. Or the guy's like, give me your card under the table. Like, he wanted her to pay, but he wanted
to make it
to
seem
pretend like it was
paying.
him paying. And she's like, what? I'm not going to give you my card.
Oh.
She's like, if you need me to pay, I'll just pay. And he's like, well, no, I don't want them to know you're paying. She's like, well, if you can't pay, then that's on you.
But the card has her name on it. Okay.
Right? I was like, that's kind of silly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've heard disaster dating where, you know, the man would show up or the woman would show up and they don't have any money. And then the conversation is not good. So then they want to walk out, but then somebody has to pay.
Right.
They'll be stuck with the bill.
How do you get out of that?
Right. And I've seen, heard stories about people being inappropriate on dates and then, causing a scene because it starts with the menu, like they're trying to order like outside of their price range and stuff like that.
I saw another one of those ones that kind of stemmed from the whole Cheesecake Factory. It was a guy taking a girl out, and they were at the Olive Garden.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
I have not.
It was recent too. And I was like, she did the same thing as the other girl. Like, someone who looks like me does not go to the Olive Garden. She had like a turtleneck. Like,
what was
I'm just saying, nothing's wrong with the turtleneck, but she wasn't like dressed to the nine. Okay. She had like a long sleeve turtleneck. You couldn't even see what bottom she had. Her hair wasn't done up any certain way. Like, even the girl in the green dress was more like dressed up than that girl. And he's like, are you kidding me? And he picked her up as well. But this guy, you know how the other guy was going to take her home? He was at least willing to take her home. This guy got out and was like, then you can get out and call an Uber.
Yeah.
Do you think you could ever do that? Or do you think you would take that person home?
It depends on how disrespectful you are. Because one thing that I don't like, about me, if you don't know me, is we can talk about anything, right? You don't have to be disrespectful. Like, if it's not working out, just say, you know what?
Enjoy this time, and then let's both go
Or even
home.
if we're not enjoying our time,
even
like,
cut it short.
Yeah, let's just go about our separate way. I'll
take my food to go.
Right. I'll drop you off. I'm paying or whatever. Don't worry about it. And then we just won't agree not to see each other. But if you're being disrespectful to me, if you're calling me out, telling me I'm cheap or, you deserve better than this, that, and the other, then you're making a scene.
Yeah.
Like when a girl went to Cheesecake Factory, was he first broke out the phone and started recording me and then started talking noise? It's a wrap. Now you're disrespecting me. You know what I mean? That's
the way that guy was. Right. Like, I just feel disrespected.
Right. Now you're trying to belittle me.
And then after she's like, well, can't we compromise? What?
There's no compromise.
Get out of my
once
car.
You cross the line and you disrespect me, then I'm going to stoop to your level, me, and we're both going to be disrespectful.
Ron's going to stoop?
Yeah. So I
don't see that.
If you came with me and you're disrespecting me, then you on your own. You got to call whoever you need to call somebody that can do whatever it is for you, but it's not going to be me if you're disrespectful. If it's just not working out or whatever, then I got you. I'm going to take you home because it's my job to make sure that you get home safely.
What if you go out on a date and the person starts like putting stuff in their purse?
Like my mama. Like the butter or something like that? Or you
Right,
talking
like
about?
say you're like at a Mexican restaurant and they have the sopapillas and like they put like the honey in their purse.
Oh, I don't mind that.
Or if they have like, I don't know, a sandwich and they give them a little thing of like mustard and they take like that whole thing of the little like jar or the bowl that it comes in, or they
Well,
take the silverware, or like with that
the food part of it, I don't mind because my mom was saying in a minute, hey,
put that in
wrap
your
wrap them cookies
my
up
family
in that
too.
napkin.
My mom and my uncle. One time we went out to eat, and like all of them were like, "Oh, take that! Oh, and take that!" We're
Yeah.
like, "There's like one bite." They're like, "Just pack it," you
Right.
know.
My mom would say, wrap them cookies up in that napkin, and we had a buffet or something. Wrap them up in that napkin and put it in your pocket or put it in my purse.
So you wouldn't judge them then,
Well,
or would you?
not
Like,
with food, because if you go in my mom's refrigerator right now, I'm pretty sure she got that honey butter
don't
from.
go in her refrigerator, guys.
She probably got like a honey butter or something from IHOP or something like that. But if they were stealing or taking like the silverware, or sometimes people take like glasses and
Yeah.
stuff like that, then I might have an issue with that.
Would you?
Because theft
It's
is
embarrassing.
theft. Yeah, because if you get caught, then it's not that person got caught. You both, you're both together.
I wasn't on a date, but I was at a restaurant. I won't say what restaurant, for a company Christmas party, and I did take the honey.
You stole some honey?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, because they didn't give me packets in my to go, because I ordered some extra ones to go. They didn't give me honey packets, so I'm like, and my boss was like, Angela.
Okay, but my thing is, like, the honey stuff they bring to you for free anyway.
Okay.
But what the honey was in, that makes a difference to me.
Well,
like if
I
they had
took the
honey
whole
packets
thing.
or whatever, you could take the honey packet. But if they had
No.
like a little
They
spout
did. It
thing
was like
or-
one of those things with the little, like a ketchup thing
oh
type thing.
Lord.
I know, but I
Mm-mm.
put it in my to go. I didn't put it in my purse. I put it with my sopapillas.
You stole somebody's honey.
Well, that's my
But
thing.
then
When you're
again-
when you go out to eat and
Mhm.
say you have dipping sauces or things like
Right.
that, and I ask for a to go thing, give me the stuff to put my additional condiments
Okay.
so I can take it. If you're not, I'm taking the little bowl.
But my thing is, when I look at it, it has to be
So
the
don't judge
expense.
me.
No, I won't judge you, but I would look at what you're trying to take and the expense of it. Now, first of all, let me disclaimer: I'm not condoning y'all stealing nothing out there. You see what I'm saying? Don't steal, take nothing outside of the restaurant that you're not supposed to. But if it's the honey thing and it comes in a little plastic, 75-cent little thing that you can get from like the dollar store or
Correct.
whatever.
That's what it was.
All right, then I don't have a
Really?
problem with that. But if it was in like the little glass thing and they had
What if they came
the
and was like,
logo,
ma'am, please put that back?
then put it back. Then I'd be like, I told you. I told you.
You
not
would.
to-
Ron's thrown me under the bus so many times. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
When the buzzer goes off at like Walmart, you walking out and that buzzer goes off. I'll be
yeah,
like,
he'll be like, search her.
She stole-
Search her. She stole it. I saw her. I'm like, oh my God.
She got it. Yeah. Victoria's Secret used to be that way. For a guy, you hang outside of Victoria's Secret. That buzzer used to go off all the time when people come out of Victoria's Secret.
Because
I'd be
people
like,
be
they
stealing.
steal it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bad now, and we're getting kind of off track, but it's so bad now in Albuquerque that if you go to Walmart or some of these stores,
Yep.
everything is locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're behind
everything is locked up.
those clear things.
Yeah.
Anyways, I know we can't be the only ones, guys, that have had at least a little bit of
No.
awkwardness. No one's
Our
chiming
friends
in.
are perfect.
Like,
You know what I mean? Our friends are perfect.
Come
They've been
on.
on some perfect dates.
or admit that you've been that person that probably someone should have left at the restaurant.
Oh, they were the disaster, huh?
You know, like maybe you went out with someone and they had like gas and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're just letting it
Oh,
loose.
Lord.
Right.
No.
Like inappropriate things, or like I said, somebody who like chews with their like mouth open, or just don't have like etiquette, or maybe they're slurping their drink.
Right.
I know that would bother Ron. Like if people were like
the chewing, no, and especially like
Right,
the
it's like
chewing
all
and you want to hear
quiet.
yourself crunching and that's just
Yeah.
That's just not my
But
thing.
would you consider that a bad, like, I can't go out with that person again because they chewed their, it's really like a thing with him. And I know there's other people like, oh my God, I cannot listen to this person chew one more bite.
Here's my thing. If that bothered me, it's my responsibility to let you know it bothers me. If you continue
let me
to
know
do
it bothered you.
right? But if you continue
Have
to
I
do
gotten
it,
better
I guess so.
in the 20 years we've been together?
I don't know.
See, he doesn't even notice anymore.
No, because you probably don't do it.
Or maybe you got used to it.
No.
No.
No. If something bothers me, I'm gonna let you know. If you continue to do it, then that's what my issue is. Like if we're sitting there and you crunching your chips and your mouth is wide open, and I say, you know what, that kind of bothers me, and then you continue to do it, then it's a wrap.
I'm trying to think what that show was that we listened in the morning, like Second Date. No.
The you wanted to do a second date update, or
why they didn't. I just know that I just remember being somewhere what they thought happened really wasn't. Like they were like, oh well, they're not calling me back now, and it was, I don't know, because she saw that he stole something at the restaurant, or that he was trying to pick up on the waitress while I went to the bathroom, or like crazy stuff like that.
And they're trying to figure out if they're going to get a second date or not by what happened having on the first date.
Right. Yeah. Having the radio station call to see, why are you ghosting this person?
Right.
And then it always ends up mostly stuff that they didn't even realize. Like, oh, I saw his mom come in and he tried to, or she gave him money because maybe he couldn't cover it.
Right. Or the mom was sitting at the bar watching the date while they were on the date. Yeah,
weird random stuff like that. It was so funny.
Yeah. It was a funny show. I don't think because the person that they had on the show, the lead guy left and he did the night show. Yeah, he wasn't on the morning show anymore. It was Jeff or whatever that was in the morning.
Is that his name?
Well, the new dude
Jeffrey is the new guy.
Yeah, the old guy. I forget what his name was.
I forget too.
But yeah, it was pretty good. I used to listen to it, or we used to listen to it every morning.
And when we listened to it, it just made us, we were like, God, we're so glad we're not in the dating scene. That's why I'm so amazed that people aren't chiming in, because people, especially people who are single right now, if you're going on dates,
where are you going on these dates to?
Right. Have they been perfect? Or
they might have been. You never know. They might have been.
You know?
But on that note, since we don't have anybody that's just been on a disaster date, then we really appreciate you guys for joining us today. We have quite a few people that have joined us and watched. We really appreciate every week that you guys join us when it comes to our Chatter of Opinion podcast.
Yes. In a few weeks is Thanksgiving, which does fall on a Thursday. So we may move it to Wednesday. Not sure. Have we decided what we're doing?
We have not decided because I ran it by you and you didn't tell me nothing.
Oh. My Crystal Baird says, I was just going to say, I'm so glad I'm not dating. I can't recall a horrible first date, but glad I'm not out there now.
Yeah. And only because I hear these stories about people dating and the dating pool and how much
the expectations or
how much the dating pool is kind of tainted.
Yeah.
And granted, just as many bad dates as people have, they have good dates and stuff as well. So, but in this case, like I said, we tried to put this together to see if you guys had any bad dates or disaster dates out there, and I guess everyone has not had any disaster dates, so that's a really good thing.
I agree. It's like, okay.
Yeah, once again, we're on here every Thursday at 6:00 Mountain Time. We might change that time to a different time, but we will put it out there on the time that we are going to change it.
I think Thanksgiving week we're most likely going to do it on the Wednesday.
Because we're not going to do it on Thanksgiving for sure.
No, we're going to enjoy our family.
Tomorrow we celebrate Veterans Day. So for all the vets that are out there, I salute you. You have a choice when you graduate or whatever you do from high school to either serve your country or go to college, or serve your country and go to college and do what you got to do. There's a lot of people that have sacrificed their lives and whatnot and their time and to protect the country. So I want to say Happy Veterans Day to those individuals that are vets. I want to say this too. Don't get it twisted or don't get it mixed up between Veterans Day and Memorial
Day. Memorial is if they have passed on.
Yes.
Then you honor those that have passed on that have served our country.
Correct.
Veterans Day is for all those veterans.
Yes.
Right, that are no longer serving but did serve.
No. You can still be serving and you're a vet.
How is that?
Because a veteran and don't,
is it a war?
Don't hold me to it. No, don't hold me to it. I think if you've completed more than I think it's 2 years of service, you are considered a vet.
Oh, okay. See, you learned something new. I thought it was someone who just like is no longer in the service. You're considered a veteran.
No, because the veterans nowadays, if you're active duty members now are veterans.
Really?
You're a vet. Yeah. If you spend, there's a time frame to it, and I think it's 2 years. If you spend more than 2 years of service in the military,
so then if someone asks someone who's in the service, would they say I'm active duty or would they say I'm a vet?
I'm active duty, but they're still a veteran because they passed the time.
I've never knew that. So thank you, Ron, for
because there are some people that do join the military and then they get discharged, whether it's medically discharged or whatever, within like 6 months or a year. Sometimes they're not considered a vet. No, just because you join the military doesn't mean that you're a vet.
I thought anyone who did any time.
That is not correct.
Unless you were dishonorable. Is that what it's called?
Dishonorable discharge. That's not correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for teaching me.
Per the requirements of a vet, you have to have served more than X amount of time.
So where are you going to go get your free vet food?
I would love to go to breakfast in the morning because I have nothing else to do.
Cool.
But I've never, in the many years I spent in the military, I think I went to eat for a free meal twice.
And where did you go?
Once it was in Missouri, and I think I went to, when I was stationed at Whiteman Air Force Base, I went out of town and I went to something on the lines of Golden Corral or something like that. And then I went to Red Robin.
He was so disappointed.
You told me they was going to hook me up.
It was like a
burger.
Kid's plate.
They gave me a Happy Meal.
Yeah.
And I can't be mad because they are giving free food, but
it wasn't enough for a vet, a grown man he didn't leave satisfied. And we didn't bother to actually be like, can we pay for another meal?
No, I got that cheeseburger and I just went about my business.
And he hasn't been back since. Hopefully we can find a good breakfast spot.
Sometimes I'm just not into like the free meal type deal.
If they give you something like that, why would you be?
Well, my thing is I serve my country because that's what I wanted to do.
True, you weren't doing it for a free meal.
Right, my family served and whatnot. So I don't think that I should just, get a free meal just because I've served.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? On
sometimes people do that to honor. So
and I agree with you. So
yeah. All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining.
Thanks, guys.
We shall see you next week.
Yeah. Have a good evening.
Yes.
Have a good weekend and a good holiday weekend. Be safe.
Happy Veterans Day.
Peace.